What is up, my ducks and drakes? Welcome to the Quiet Lake. Today we are reading chapters 13 and 14 of Bad Guy, a Sandersides fanfic by Bekka911 on Wattpad. If you'd like to support the fic or the author, please look at the links in the description below. Also in the description there is a Google form to recommend any kind of fanfiction you'd like for the series. Now, any kind meaning like not nasty or inappropriate, but like fandom-wise, yeah, we like that fanfiction. And with that, we have Chapter 13. They would look for him soon. Derek watched him, caution evident in his posture. Virgil, I don't... Quiet. Anxiety hissed, focusing. I need to hurry this up. Slowly, ever so slowly and painfully, he withdrew from Thomas's consciousness, effectively removing himself from the boy's emotions. There. Now it won't affect anyone or anything when I get my random spikes of anxiety. Virgil, Derek sighed. This isn't right. I'm trying to spare Thomas. Anxiety spat. Why is that so wrong to you? Derek had no answer. Exactly. So just shush and make me feel bad. He could already feel Thomas getting twitchy, lazy, and uncaring all in one go, and for a moment he felt the slightest touch of guilt. Then Roman's words echoed in his head, and he reminded yet again how little he was wanted. If they didn't want him, they wouldn't get him. He began humming, a nervous habit of his, so he picked up his headphones and longing drowned out the real world in music and a sweet nothing. He shut out Derek and his worries and his room and closed his eyes until he felt them in his room. Immediately he ditched the headphones and motioned for Derek to hide. He didn't want the others to see anxiety's weakness. He could feel them all, wonder and worry mixing together. He sighed. He just wanted to exist in peace. If he wasn't attached to Thomas, he would disappear on his own eventually. What are you doing in my room? He yelled, appearing. He wasn't expecting Roman to screech like a little girl. Something in his chest crumpled at their reactions upon his arrival. It was then he knew that he'd made the right choice. Derek knew nothing. Anxiety? Thomas questioned and then gasped. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy to see you. The anxious sight's heart lifted. That's weird. And he quickly was disappointed. You literally all just screamed in unison upon seeing me, he said dryly, hiding his emotions behind his sarcasm. Sorry, Logan apologized. It's just you do this thing where you kind of just appear. Immediately anxiety raised an eyebrow. He'd never known Logan to stutter like that before. A bad feeling settled in the pit of his stomach. Wait! Thomas yelled. What am I wearing? What is my hair? Welcome back, Thomas, Roman welcomed, throwing his host a hairbrush he got from who knows where. Thank Roman, Thomas said, straightening himself up and throwing the hairbrush back. It hit the prince, and anxiety tucked away his amusement. Look, anxiety, you don't understand. Come on, Roman whined quietly. For some reason, I wasn't feeling your presence at all, Thomas continued. Anxiety sighed. He knew the confrontation was coming, but for him to have to face them so soon, he wasn't ready. Yes, you are. He smiled as Derek's encouragement sparkled some sort of confidence boost. Yeah, I know. He took a breath. It's because I decided to duck out. Quack. Patton giggled, trying to lighten the situation. What? Duck out? Quack, quack. That's a thing you can do? Roman asked politely. For this video, I guess. Logan answered, and anxiety gritted his teeth. He'd gone through a lot of pain to remove himself from Thomas's range of emotions, and they were dissing him for it? What do you mean? Thomas sat sadly. I removed myself from the equation. Anxiety snapped. I quit. Decided it wasn't worth it anymore. Why would you do that? Thomas looked so upset and confused. Anxiety nearly cracked right there, but he reminded himself of Roman's words, and he locked away his emotions once more. Well, it didn't seem like I was wanted. He admitted harshly. You all made that pretty clear any time I showed up. What? Patton started. Except you, Patton. He cursed himself for the moment of weakness. You're a funny guy. I love my dark, strange son, Patton whispered. Well, surely you knew that we were just preparing for the worst possible... Roman cut himself off, and slowly Anxiety's thoughts got darker and darker as he felt the warming signs of an attack coming on. Okay, maybe I could rephrase that. We were just tensing up because we knew that something bad would... Anxiety glanced at the others in disbelief. Look, Roman struggled to redeem himself. It's just you're never really fun. And, Roman... Thomas interrupted. Shut up. Look, I am the creative side, not the fluffy, cutesy, kind wordsy side. So... Roman snuck a glance at Anxiety, and the darker trait groaned. One would think that the creative side would be able to come up with a nicer way to talk to others. Logan hissed, dark rings under his eyes. Anxiety bit back a snort. You're a hypocrite, Teach. You think the smart side would know when to mind his own business. Roman shot back, his bags also deepening. Anxiety frowned. Okay, he said loudly. It's real sweet that you all decided to come for a visit, but if I wanted to stand around being insulted, I would have shown up in person like I usually do. Aw, you poor little anxious baby, Patton gushed, also with black bags. Let's just face facts, Anxiety said. You're better off without me. No, Thomas quickly held to him. That is where you're wrong. Anxiety felt his insides shrivel at the lie. Very much so, Logan chimed in. I don't think any of us comprehend how much you factor into Thomas's decision-making. Yeah, Thomas said smugly. I mean, Logan continued, without you, he was acting like just like a big, bumbling couch potato man. That, Thomas faltered slyly. There's possibly a nicer way you could have said that, but just an unfiltered... Logan cut him off. Just gonna come out and say it. A cotton-headed ninny-muggins. Roman and Patton gasped dramatically. That's enough out of you, Thomas said, curling up his lip. Logic. You do talk too much sometimes, Anxiety told him coolly. He still wasn't convinced that they were here to get him back. It all felt like a joke. Logan inhaled sharply. I never thought I'd appreciate you saying that. We've already learned that Thomas listening to me too much can be a problem, Patton said maturely. Same with Roman, probably even Logan. Logan laughed and then glared. Easy, he warned. Now, Patton ignored his logical counterpart and addressed Anxiety. Well, I still have your attention. Do you think we could maybe switch places? Anxiety just brushed that last part off. Alright, I could say it's not nice to hear you all groveling, he admitted. But I actually think you were right to not want me around. Because they were right. He was nothing but a disease, a disorder. He wasn't wanted. I've always aimed to protect you, but lately... He trailed off. It feels like I'm keeping you from doing anything. If your only goal is to protect, Roman said quietly, then why do you act like the embodiment of a dark and stormy night all the time? 'Cause that's what I am, he wanted to scream. That's what my name has branded me as. Roman, Thomas sighed. What? The royal side cried. He's a creepy cookie. You're a creepy cookie, Anxiety, Roman. You're like an oatmeal raisin cookie that's primarily composed of raisins. The prince gradually got louder. A raisin oatmeal cookie. No one wants that. Chapter 14. His chest caved. He knew it. He knew it, he knew it, he knew it. Roman had always meant it when he said he wanted anxiety gone. Pump the brakes, Princey. Thomas shouted. I'm sorry, Roman sighed. You pump those brakes. Their host glared at the fanciful side. I'm sorry. The black under his eyes had darkened, and despite the agony he was in, anxiety had a bad feeling in his stomach. I'm just feeling a little, extra passionate here. When did you apply eyeshadow? Patton asked. I didn't, Roman said. But does it look okay? Because a prince has got to slay. Of course it looks good, Patton looked admiring. Why would you think it wouldn't? Do you have low self-esteem issues? He gasped. Am I asking too many questions? Putting on a dark persona is the best way to get someone's guard up, Anxiety interrupted sharply. But all this reflecting and working on your issues with us has gotten me to think. I overdo it. You could never overdo it, Patton told him emotionally. Well, Thomas was cut off by his morality. You are just perfect and special just the way you are. I don't care how dark your clothes are. You shine. He'd hesitated. Bright like a diamond. You okay, Patton? Thomas said quietly. Patton. Roman laughed. Eyeshadow buddies. We are buddies, Patton agreed. Look, anxiety. Logan butted in. You're a natural fight or flight reflex. That's what you're instilled in humans to act as. And for some people, yes, you are a little heightened. But what's a little extra height, right? It just means you get to ride all the rides at Disney World. Unless you're too tall and you get decapitated on It's Small World. Wow, sorry for the little tangent. I am reeling right now. The point is, too much of anything can be counterproductive. Well, yeah, Anxiety grumbled. But for me... Hold on! Logan shouted. Yes, I'm about to provide more exposition. Thomas, just bear with me. Okay, the host said, confused. The relationship between anxiety and performance can be expressed in this curve. The teacher held up a piece of paper with some lines, but anxiety was more focused on the darkening circles under his eyes, too. It's known as the Yerkes-Dodson curve. It's named after psychologists R.M. Yerkes and J.D. Dodson. Get on with it, calculator watch, Roman demanded loudly. Yay, loud noises, Patton smiled nervously. Okay, Logan said, trying to regain control. Up here is where you want to be. Anxiety just watched blankly as the logical side explained something to everyone else, but he was just not able to concentrate. I am bitterly jittery and not very glittery. He blinked, suddenly transported a few moments forward as he zoned back in. Hurriedly, he tried to make it seem like he was listening. He understood the curve. It wasn't a difficult concept. He just always hated paying attention to Logan's lectures. With me, he said quietly. Aren't you always on the other side of that? He had no idea what they'd been saying. Curve thing. Yerkes-Dodson curve! Logan snapped. He held up his hands. Yeah, that. There's ways that I can work on that anxiety, Thomas said. But I'd rather work on it with you than without you at all. Liar. How? He sighed. He appreciated Thomas's lies, but he knew the truth. He knew they just felt bad. I just need to make you feel listened to. You're like a really important alarm clock. Thomas gave him the most earnest look. Sure, the noise can be sudden and a little unpleasant sometimes, but it's important for me to recognize the concern, register it, and carry on changing my actions if necessary. Anxiety felt himself grow hopeful. Thomas wouldn't make this up for him, surely. Yes, he would. His subconscious whispered his thoughts, affected by Derek. But even without his personal depression, Anxiety knew he was being stupid. The only thing left for him to do was pretend he was convinced to go along with it. You're what made Thomas double and triple check things he needed to study before taking tests, Logan added. And also that feeling of tingliness after achieving something he didn't think was possible, Morality shouted. E equals MC scared, Logan yelled. Sorry, was that too loud? Patton asked desperately. I was worried I wouldn't get another chance to speak, and I wanted to share my thought before I forgot. Anxiety? Thomas tried to regain control. In small doses. You what pressures me to get out of bed, to get moving and doing stuff. I'm lucky to have you the way I do. Logan started speaking again. Some people have anxiety that's heightened to the point where it becomes an incredibly difficult and hindering condition. Whether it's symptoms of a different issue or an anxiety disorder, Anxiety flinched at the words, or the unfortunate result of something someone may be going through. And I don't want to downplay any of that. Thomas agreed. But I think maybe I could benefit from trying to understand you better. Anxiety almost snorted. You want to understand me? Thomas, I'm so fucked up. Instead, he reminded himself to play along. I mean, it's cool to see you all trying to be helpful. Well, he sent a look to Patton and Roman. Most of you. But Anxiety, Roman cut him off. The royal trait trailed off, waiting until Anxiety met his eyes before continuing. What pushes Thomas to rehearse before performances. You are the nervousness he feels right before he goes on stage, but just as you do so, you ease up and let his excitement and passion for performance take over. I think that's a good a sign as any that you're willing to work as a team. Anxiety felt his chest warm. And that you make us better. Liar. But Anxiety smiled regardless, and then things went wrong. Was that good? Prince cried. Did I do a good? I'm gonna cry. Patton sniffled. I just don't want to lose any of you. You're Wisconsin! Logan shrieked. Oh, Anxiety murmured, understanding and concern mingling in his mind. What the heck is going on? Thomas freaked. These guys have all been in this corner of your mind for way too long, Anxiety explained. It's corrupting them. His voice started to echo in discomfort. All their main functions are starting to work to drive you far over to the other end of that curve. What? Hang on. His host hushed. We're getting them all out of here. Thomas remembered what you learned. Breathe in for 4 seconds. Thomas followed the instruction. Hold your breath for 7 seconds. One by one, the others begin to sink down. Now, breathe out for 8 seconds. Keep it up, Thomas. That's good. Keep going. It was jarring landing back in Thomas's apartment, but Anxiety felt nothing but a slight apprehension and guilt. Okay, Roman puffed. That was really risky. Thing you guys did. Anxiety scolded. Yeah, Thomas grinned sheepishly. Pretty sure if you were with us, you'd kept us from doing it in the first place. Being anxious about the idea of growing more anxious? Anxiety said. Yeah, that sounds like me. You rescued me, Roman said slowly, almost like he couldn't believe it. Yeah, well, fight or flight. Anxiety rubbed his neck. Am I right? Logan excelled. Incredibly right. Just like you keep Thomas away from potentially dangerous situations, you also enable him to escape the ones he'd managed to get himself into. I am incredibly proud of you, Anxiety, Patton said. Anxiety scoffed, slightly embarrassed. Whatever. He chokes out. But I'm more proud of myself for enduring the great spider threat of 2017. They were just curtains, Patton, Logan sighed. You all went through that for me? Anxiety said slowly. Don't sweat it, Brad Pitiful, Roman said. It was no big deal. It was worth it, Thomas nodded, to regain my good old worrywarts. That's right, Logan chimed in. And just like you saved us, it's the vigilant people that work the hardest to save the world. Sometimes it's better for society to be anxious than complacent. Another thing, Anxiety decided. I lower all expectations for social gatherings, so if you do actually go out, anything remotely good will be pleasantly surprising. A chorus of cheers went up. Not so bad, he said. I'm not the bad guy. Party on, my dudes, Patton said with a grin. Well, Thomas was smiling widely. Glad to have you back, Anxiety, and I promise to make sure you feel listened to and strive for a better balance from here on out. Thomas turned his gaze to the camera. And to all of you out there— Wait, Anxiety interrupted. Oh boy, and I'm actually considering it. What? Thomas frowned, confused. You've kind of made me want to open up to you, Anxiety admitted. But big surprise, I'm really anxious about it. Anxious? Patton joked. Like your name. Yep. Anxiety shift. That was, You're great, Patton. But, actually, on the subject of my name. Shut up, Roman yelled. Oh, that's okay, Logan said calmly. No pressure if you don't want to. Logan? Patton called. Shut your ever-flopping gob talker, okay? No pranks or misleading? Thomas asked suspiciously. Not this time. Anxiety shook his head. Oh man, why did I have to have a heartfelt conversation moment? It's totally fine, Patton rushed to assure him. This is a very accepting environment, but I have to tell you I've been theorizing it for a very long time, so if it's not exactly the name I think it is, I will lose it. Okay. Anxiety quirked an eyebrow. Promise you won't laugh, though? Of course not, Thomas promised. My name is Virgil! Thank you all so much for listening. If you'd like to listen to more, please subscribe and hit that bell for next week's episode. In the description, there are many beautiful links that will help you in your journey, including links to support the author, links to recommend fics, links to my TikTok where I do Sanderside's cosplays, and so much more. So if you'd like to check that out, I'd encourage you to. Once again, thank you so much for listening, and much like Virgil trying to say his name, do your best.